You know what's funny? Every time Aryna Sabalenka loses her temper, the internet suddenly decides she's unhinged. French Open 2025, Paris crowd whistling, cameras zoomed in, she's yelling something in Belarusian that no one even understands. Commentators call it a meltdown. Twitter calls it a pattern. And yet, 2 months later, she's holding another trophy, smiling like nothing ever happened. So maybe the problem with Sabalenka isn't that she loses control. Maybe the problem is that we can't stand watching someone who doesn't pretend to have control in the first place. Because here's the truth. Sabalenka's rage didn't ruin her. It built her. Back in 2023, she was chaos personified. Smashing rackets, screaming at her box, press conference tension so thick you could slice it with a forehand. Remember that viral US Open moment when she flung her racket into the wall and then smiled 5 seconds later? Yeah, that was the internet's first real glimpse of the Sabalenka problem. And it just kept building. She'd lose a tough match, explode, and the narrative would reset. Arya's too emotional. She'll never be number one if she can't control herself. French Open 2025, it peaks. She's playing Coco Gauff, tension boiling over. Sabalenka loses a tight game, stares at her team, mutters something sharp, and when the crowd boos, she claps back. The moment went viral. 100 slow-mo clips, millions of comments. People forgot she was up a set just minutes before that. Because anger is louder than tennis, then comes the apology. Not in the press room, not on Twitter, later, like weeks later, in an interview. She says, "I got too emotional, I let frustration take over, but I'm learning." And that's the thing, she wasn't killing her fire, she was learning how to use it. Sabalenka, on Andy Roddick's podcast in 2024, said something that no sports psychologist could phrase better. "People told me I needed to be calm, like those players who show nothing. But that's not who I am. If I hold it in, I go crazy. I need to let it out." So that's when everything shifted. Her team stopped trying to fix her. Instead, they built a strategy around her emotion. Rage became rhythm. Every yell, every scream, not a crack in control, but a reset. You could literally see the numbers change. Her tiebreak record in 2025, 21-1, breakpoints converted, nearly 50%. Her comeback rate after losing the first set, among the best in the WTA. And the irony, she started winning by being herself. Go back to the US Open final against Anisimova. You'll notice she doesn't look calm. She looks centered. Every time she screams, it's followed by perfect focus on the next serve. That's not chaos. That's calibration. People always assume calm equals control. Sabalenka flipped that. Her version of control is fire. She doesn't fight her emotions, she feeds off them. Here's where the irony kicks in. In 2025, is everyone else losing it? Swiatek smashing rackets, Rybakina shaking her head mid-match, Gauff arguing line calls, and Sabalenka, she's just smiling. Watch that clip from the WTA final semi against Gauff. Gauff's furious, arguing with her box. Sabalenka just walks to the baseline, adjusts her ponytail, and waits. Cool. Quiet, lethal. How did the angriest player in tennis become the calmest one on court? Simple. She stopped apologizing for her emotions, and the second she did, everyone else started breaking down. When she said, "I'm learning to control my fire, not put it out," she meant it literally. She turned every emotional outburst into oxygen. She's not suppressing it anymore. She's directing it. That's why players hate facing her. You can't shake someone who's already shaken herself 1,000 times. You can't rattle someone who thrives on being rattled. And now when her opponents start boiling, she just stands there, smirking, quiet, unbothered, because she's seen worse. Let's talk about the obvious. When Kyrgios or Medvedev screams, it's passion. When Sabalenka does it, it's attitude. And that double standard fuels her more than any serve stat ever could. Reddit threads are still split in half. Half say she's toxic, half say she's real, and that split, that's algorithmic gold. It keeps her name trending without her saying a word. She once said, "I know people call me crazy, but I like it. Crazy wins matches," and honestly, she's not wrong. Since embracing that side of herself, she's become statistically unstoppable. Her highest win rate ever, career best return numbers, and still the most emotionally explosive player on tour. But the difference is, now it's by design. She doesn't hide the fire anymore. She times it. And it terrifies people because it works. You know, I've watched Sabalenka for years, from that kid who used to hit like she was angry at the ball to this version now. Controlled, terrifying, almost poetic in her chaos. And here's what I think. The problem with most players is that they try to fake calmness. They try to breathe through rage, hide it, bury it, make it disappear. But rage doesn't disappear, but it just waits. And when it comes back, it's twice as loud. Sabalenka learned that early. You can see it. That look she gives herself after a double fault, that small nod like, okay, let's reset. Not calm, not numb, just aware. She doesn't hide her flaws. She drags them onto the court with her, and that's why she wins. Because here's the thing. You can't fake authenticity in front of 10,000 people. You can't lie to the camera when your heartbeat is visible through your shirt. And Sabalenka, for all her rage, for all her screaming and smashing and apologizing too late, she's real. And that's what makes her dangerous. In a sport obsessed with perfection, she made imperfection her identity. She found a way to turn volatility into volume. And the more emotional she gets, the better she plays. And honestly, that's not a weakness. That's evolution. The truth is, Sabalenka doesn't play tennis like a sport. She plays it like survival. And when you play to survive, you stop worrying about how it looks. You just fight. So maybe the problem with Sabalenka isn't that she's angry. Maybe it's that she refuses to perform politeness. In a sport built on composure, she's made chaos look like control. She's not the eye of the storm. She is the storm, and she knows exactly where to strike. She used to scream to release pressure. Now she screams to remind you she's still here. And the best part, you can love her, you can hate her, but you can't look away. So tell me this. If Sabalenka were calmer, quieter, more composed, would she still be this good? Or is rage part of greatness?